The book of Job is incredibly difficult to read. I think it's in there for that reason. It is a hard book to read. Normally, you would read it if you read it in the books of the Bible in order. You'd read it more towards coming to the middle of the Bible. But I think Job is a very important book because I can see a man of pure honesty here confessing to God his needs, his desires, his weakness, his vulnerabilities. And if we were in Job's situation, we would have every reason to be depressed, to be grief-stricken. He's had his livelihood taken away from him. He's had his family taken away from him. His animals taken away from him. Everything that Job has depended on has been taken away from him. Of course, he's going to feel the bitter sting of grief and pain. And yet, he still acknowledges God. He still turns to God. Verse 5, he still knows that even though he's going through this difficult time, the righteous will triumph. He still clings on to the hope of God. So how can you be so depressed and grief-stricken and yet still hopeful? Well, we must acknowledge, dear friends, that the hope we have is not constructed of ourselves. It is a God-given hope. In the New Testament, it talks about a God-given faith. And this is the same thing, to cling on to, even when we go through trials and difficulties, to cling on to the hope, the glorious hope that we will be with Jesus. Job says, I would seek unto God, and God would I commit my cause. When he's crying out, when there's no other answers, his friends have started to betray him because they think he's doing the wrong things and not living a righteous life. Job loses his friends, his family, his wife has turned on him, and he is crying out in the utmost despair to God. Oh, my friends, no matter what we go through, when we go through difficult times, we can always cry out to God, and he hears and answers our prayer.